Football is a man's game because women hit like girls. They run like girls. And they never play with passion.
Simply unbelievable.
This game will never mean as much to women as it does to men. The game has never been played by women until now.
For the millions watching around the world, welcome to LFL Football Night in Seattle, Washington. Hello, LFL fans. Mitch Mortaza joining you alongside Bobby Huco. A little bit later, Desi Mitchison down on the field. Bobby, here we go. Seattle versus Chicago. When the schedule came out in January, this is the game everybody circled as the marquee matchup of this season. Fast forward to today, this Chicago team is not the same team. They don't have an identity. Is this still the marquee matchup we talked about?
That remains to be seen. You're right. It's a completely different Chicago Bliss team. Their franchise quarterback, Heather Furr, she was widely overrated at quarterback. She was forced to retire. They lost two key players. They were released, Nneka Nwani and Ali Alberts. Totally different Chicago team tonight.
Definitely a different Chicago team, specifically at the quarterback position. Here's a team in the offseason when they lost Heather Furr. They went after Vegas Sin free agent quarterback Sydney Cummings. Cummings showed up to camp out of shape. They couldn't go that route. They went and recruited Sarah Finn, another young gun quarterback. Once again, had a problem coming in shape for the season. Then they went across the pond all the way to Australia and recruited New South Wales surge quarterback Jacinda Barkley. Here's an MO of a quarterback that fits this system. Very blue collar and a cannon for an arm. Coach Keith Hack raves about this young lady.
I watched films on her. She can throw it all over the field. Going to be fun to watch her. But don't forget, Chicago still has one of the best running backs ever, the Ferrari, Chrisdell Harris. She's back. The question is her dedication and, quite frankly, her teammates' dedication to get back to that championship level. We'll see if they did it tonight. I don't know, Mitch.
Now, Chicago, they're having their troubles. Obviously, they don't have the identity. They may not be the same championship team they were in previous years. But the Seattle Mist, well, they're one of the storied franchises. They've had a lot of success recently. For a closer look at the Seattle Mist, we go down to the field with Desi Mitchison.
Thanks, Mitchell. They say sports teams win because of the chemistry in the locker room. Well, that's exactly what Seattle has, chemistry. This is a veteran roster that plays as one unit. Even the marquee players like Danica Brace, KK Matheny, Bryn Renda, Stevie Schnoor, Dominique Malloy, Jenna Wise, Kim Chase, Sage Steinmetz, and the list goes on. They all have the ability to play as one collective unit on the field. In speaking with them and their coaching staff, they truly believe that has been the difference and why they have a shot at a second Legends Cup championship.
Thanks, Desi. We are now moments away from the Legends Cup rematch. It's the Chicago Bliss versus the first place Seattle Mist. Kickoff is next. Back to LFL Football Night. A great crowd on hand here in Seattle. That is Sage Steinmetz with a low shanking kick into the end zone. And that's Chrisdell Harris, the Ferrari, in the open field, stiff-arming defenders. Gets it out to the 19-yard line. And now our Desi Mitchison visits with Jacinda Barkley of Chicago.
Jacinda, you're many miles away from home and where you played in LFL Australia. How big will the butterflies be in your stomach before the first play?
If anything, they're probably going to be little dragons, really, that breathe fire. So we're pretty excited, looking forward to it. It's going to be a great opportunity to represent my country, my Surge sisters, my name. So if anything, I'm excited and looking forward to the opportunity.
Jacinda Barkley, I'm anxious as an ex-quarterback to watch her play. She can make all the throws, and she has a gun, Mitch.
Ball at the 19 for this Chicago offense, and that is Chrisdell Ferrari Harris. A swarming defense, but not before Chrisdell picks up 4. Let's meet the starters for Chicago.
AJ Johnson, wide receiver.
Samara Fennell, wide receiver.
Ava Mae Gamble, tight end.
Tina Fagiano, tight end.
Stephanie Murray, center.
Ferrari Harris, the running back.
Jacinda Barkley, quarterback.
I really think the key tonight is Chrisdell the Ferrari Harris. She has to have a big game to take some of the heat off first-year quarterback Jacinda Barkley.
A high snap on a 2nd and 6 play. Big pressure off the edge. Pass intended for Amanda Johnson. Chicago using Amanda Johnson in the old Allie Alberts role. A playmaker. Could not connect with Jacinda Barkley on that play.
Even though that pass was incomplete, you could see the arm strength of Barkley. She flicked it out there 30 yards without a problem, a little behind Johnson, but I can't wait to see how this game ends up with this quarterback.
The Aussie quarterback now facing a 3rd and 6. Ball at the Chicago 23-yard line. Facing the number 2 ranked defense in the league. You can see this crowd coming to life on a key 3rd down play early in this game. That's a toss right play to Chrisdell Harris. Great defensive stop by 2015 league MVP Danica Brace. Let's meet the starters for Seattle.
Stevie Schnorr, middle linebacker. LaShonda Fowler, cornerback.
Sage Stamets, defensive end.
Danica Brace, strong safety.
Kim Chase, defensive end.
Jessica Hopkins, free safety.
It's going to be interesting to watch free agent acquisition. Defensive end Kim Chase, who came in from L.A., she's starting tonight for Seattle on the defensive line.
A 4th and 5 now from the Chicago 24. Jacinda Barkley breaking through arm tackles and gets into the secondary for an 11-yard gain. And that's part of what she gives you as that toughness.
This run for a quarterback is just incredible. Watch how strong her leg strength is, getting through the line and powering her way into the secondary. What a weapon for Chicago.
They talked about her arm strength. Heck, we talked about it in the pregame show, but she's also a runner. I remembered when she played with the New South Wales Surge with LFL Australia, she was the predominant quarterback. Very excited that Barkley now has the opportunity to bring her skill set to the States. A 1st and 10 at the Seattle 15-yard line. And again, Barkley on the keeper. This one is a design play. Barkley gaining 6 yards on the carry. Jessica Hopkins on the stop.
Who the the edge over there?
Coach Michelson really upset with number 16, Melee Rich. She didn't set the edge on the outside and totally allowed Barkley to get around the outside for a big gain.
Ball now at the Seattle 9-yard line. Chicago looking impressive early. The offense very balanced behind the arm of Jacinda Barkley. Or should I say the legs. The young lady has rushed now for 15 yards. Now sending her receiver in motion. That is another toss play. And that is Shane Norton with penetration into the backfield, blowing up the blocker and making the tackle.
There's just not enough offensive linemen to block up front. It's a first-year quarterback, Barkley. She needs to learn to get out of that play. There's no way they can't block all the defenders. She should have checked off to a quick pass.
This Seattle defense very athletic up front with Danica Brace, Stevie Schnorr, and Shane Norton.
A really talented defense, but they are on their heels right now. First-year quarterback Jacinda Barkley has the Bliss driving straight down the field.
A 3rd and 8 now, ball at the Seattle 13. Barkley now going back in the shotgun. Good snap this time. Looking into the flat has Chrisdell Harris. Incomplete pass. That was great coverage by Danica Brace.
A trip set to the right. They tried to get Chrisdell Harris out in the flat, but she was double covered. Inside, Tamar Fennell broke open, but Barkley couldn't see her.
A 4th and 8 for Jacinda Barkley in this Chicago offense. This has been an impressive drive, over 7 plays, 25 yards. Jacinda Barkley accounting for most of that on the ground. 4th and 8 as the crowd comes to life again. That's Tamar Fennell in motion. This looks to be a crossing pattern. That's Amanda Johnson breaking free and into the end zone. That is the first-year receiver Chicago is very high on. And the Bliss draw first blood, going up 6-0.
Don Joy protecting LFL athletes and the game.
Unbelievable. Idiot.
Back to LFL football now. That's head coach Chris Michelson not happy with his defense. And now he won't be happy with his special teams. That is offsides on Seattle.
Seattle is definitely rattled to start this game off. Chris Michelson cannot believe how his defense is playing. The first-year quarterback, Barkley, took him straight down the field for 6 points.
Chicago now in a bunch set, and they're known for this. That is a quarterback sneak. That'll be good enough for an extra point attempt. A 2-point attempt at that, taking Chicago to an early 8-0 lead.
Coach Michelson really upset with Melee Rich. She left her coverage as a corner. If she would have stayed there, they would have ran right into her, but she went inside, and there was nobody there. They walked in the end zone.
Coach Michelson will never be mistaken for a Buddhist. Our own Desi Mitchison sat down with him.
Coach Michelson, with your sideline tirades going viral all over the world, do you think you're misunderstood as a coach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they only see those tidbits, but 95% of the other action is completely different. But I get it. It is what it is. I'm passionate, and maybe some people don't understand that or see that. But if they knew more about me and the team dynamic, they'd understand that it comes from a good place.
Tidbits. He goes off probably 75% of the game. He is a great coach, but the world loves when he goes off on his players.
The most intense coach you'll ever see on the LFL sidelines. Although Coach Keith Hack of Chicago Bliss equally fiery, they're going to go nose-to-nose tonight. As we said earlier, this is the 2015 Legends Cup rematch. And Seattle finally on offense. That's KK Matheny going to try the right side. Overthrows Jessica Hopkins to the dismay of head coach Chris Michelson.
Chris Michelson is not happy with his quarterback this year. Yes, they're undefeated, but she's completing less than 50% of his passes. Right there, wasn't even close, way overthrown. I mean, I know she has a lot of talent, Mitch, but she's not showing her talent this year.
A 3rd-and-1 ball at the Seattle 24, and that is the bull. Stevie Schnorr breaking through tackles, gaining 12 yards. That's good enough for a Seattle first down.
That's the great thing about this Mist offense. Even when Matheny is not throwing well, they have a great offensive line, and the bull, you just feed the bull, and she's going to get you 5-10 yards a pop.
Ball now at the Chicago 14-yard line. KK Matheny trying to engineer a drive here. That's Dominique Malloy in motion.
Stop the ball! Stop it!
Chris Michelson not mincing words on this drive. Not happy with his starting quarterback.
I think she checked off right there because Jessica Hopkins jumped. She thought the count was going to go on one, and she was running a streak pattern. I think Matheny checked off, and Michelson very upset at his quarterback right now.
That has got to be the dumbest ball ever.
Coach Michelson having fun on the sidelines. Don't tell him this is a regular season game. That's KK Matheny back to pass. She's got some rush off the edge, and she fumbles the ball. Recovered by Dominique Collins of Chicago.
Would you go on two?
I didn't go on two.
She didn't snap it?
She didn't do something.
Where's the snap?
A lot of miscommunication on that offense. The center snapped the ball. Matheny wasn't expecting it, didn't know what to do. Fumbles the ball. A great play by Dominique Malloy. Chicago has the ball right now. Seattle is not playing like champions.
How about the Chicago Bliss up 8-0 early in the first quarter? We talked about it in the pregame show. We did not know what to expect. This is practically a newer franchise with a lot of changes in the offseason. You don't see it through the first half of play. That is complete to Tamar Fennell, the free agent running back out of the Toledo Crush, gaining 6 yards.
I could tell when I interviewed Chicago coach Keith Hack this week, he was treating this game like a championship game. Whereas Coach Michelson, on the other hand, he wasn't really concerned about the first-year quarterback or Chicago, which surprised me. He didn't really watch tapes on this quarterback, but you can tell Chicago came to play tonight.
A 2nd and 4 ball at the Seattle 15. Barkley remains in the shotgun. That's Fennell, high snap over the head of Barkley, trying to recover it. And a big loss all the way back to the Chicago 20-yard line.
A poor snap by Kelsey Bolstat. She's new at center. Last year it was Stephanie Murray. Here's Bolstat way over the head of, not even close. A good play by Barkley, just maintaining possession, but they lost a ton of yardage.
That loss setting up a 3rd and 19 now at the Chicago 20-yard line. This offense will need to come up big here. That is a lot of yards to make up for an offense that's not meant to go vertical, and there are offsides. That's Christelle Harris. You could see with the high motion offsides. Chicago having some difficulties here, Bobby.
Really have to credit the Seattle crowd, the 8th man. It's hard to hear in here. I'm surprised they don't go with a silent snap count. Right there, the first-year quarterback couldn't be heard by Harris.
Keith Hack also serving as the offensive coordinator for Chicago. You could see just how happy he was with his offense on that last shot. That ball just hanging from Jacinda Barkley. Pass intended for Christelle Harris. Incomplete, setting up a 4th and 24.
Great pressure by Seattle. They tried to have Christelle Harris one-on-one against LaShonda Fowler, who's got great wheels on her own. Harris had her beat, but Barkley was forced to throw off her back foot.
The first-year U.S. quarterback, Jacinda Barkley, getting the marching orders on this 4th and 24 ball at the Chicago 15-yard line. That's what they're known for up here in Seattle is crowd noise. We've already seen that factor in early in the first quarter. Chicago really backed up here. Barkley remains in the shotgun, dropping back to pass. Little shovel pass to Christelle Harris. That is not going to get it done. Number 8, Danica Brace, all over it. And that will bring us to the end of the first quarter in a game that Chicago leads 8-0.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
Back to LFL football night. A surprising score here in the Pacific Northwest as the 2015 Legends Cup champion Seattle Mist trail this one 8-0 as KK Matheny goes back to work.
You see her stats, 14 out of 33, less than 50% on the year. Not typical KK Matheny numbers.
That's Dominique Malloy, the free agent pickup from the Vegas Sin. Has been a spark off the bench, gaining 7 yards on that carry.
Her first step is so quick. She leaves people behind her. She is so fast to get outside like that. She's become the feature back for Seattle.
Malloy, actually a Pacific Northwest native, a lot of family at the game. Played for the Vegas Sin, now very excited to be wearing the neon green. Malloy part of that thunder and lightning package with Stevie Schnorr. A 2nd and 3 ball at the Chicago 13. Inside handoff to Sage Steinmetz. Nothing doing. That's Tamar Fennell, and that'll be a loss of a yard.
Another great free agent acquisition by Coach Keith Hack, bringing Tamar Fennell. We remember her as a great running back at Cleveland, now a great cornerback and running back with Chicago.
Fennell factoring in with this defense, but you could see they targeted her on offense several times in the first quarter. That defensive play now setting up a 4th and 4. Seattle's got to keep pace with this Chicago team who's up 8-0 early in this game.
Seattle, even though they're the champs, they look like they came into this game a little bit complacent.
Matheny under center looking over the defense. This looks to be an option play. They're going to fake it and try into the end zone. A curious play intended for Katie Whelan. Check that, Sage Steinmetz, as we meet the starters for Seattle.
Stevie Schnorr, running back.
Danica Brace, tight end.
LaShonda Fowler, tight end.
Jessica Hopkins, wide receiver.
Dominique Malloy, wide receiver.
Jenna Weiss, center.
KK Matheny, your quarterback.
With KK Matheny having an off year passing the football, tonight's keys on offense are the running backs, Dominique Malloy and Stevie Schnorr.
They may have to go to Schnorr here. A 4th and 4 at the Chicago 14-yard line. Matheny remaining in the shotgun. A deep drop. Looking over the middle. Has a receiver, Jenna Weiss. Not sure why you're targeting your center. Jenna Weiss dropping that critical 4th down.
Seattle known to go to their center, but she was open. She should have caught the ball. She had hands of stone on that one, and it cost a crucial 1st down for Seattle.
That was an opportunity for this Seattle team to notch this game up. You could see Coach Chris Michelson not happy. I'm not sure the play calling was that great on that play. I don't know why you're targeting Jenna Weiss.
I kind of agree. You have all kinds of all-world talent at wide receiver, running back, at tight end, and you throw to your center.
Just off the top of my head, Jessica Hopkins, Bren Renda, even Stevie Schnorr. Not sure why you would call a play for Jenna Weiss on 4th down. That's Jacinda Barkley. Big-time hit. Meet Danica Brace. Danica Brace playing the rover position, and we've got her mic'd up tonight. Let's listen in on this hit. Wow. Bobby, you ever been hit like that?
Yes, I have. That's why quarterbacks should not run the football. Danica Brace, one of the best pure hitters in the LFL.
A 5-yard gain by Jacinda Barkley. Give her some credit for holding on to the ball. We talked about her being a blue-collar type quarterback. One of the things that Coach Keith Hack really loves about her. Now evading the rush. Barkley looking down the field. Has a receiver wide open. Chrisdell Harris, not a defender within 10 yards. And that's good for a Chicago touchdown.
What a play by Barkley. Look at the heat. She escapes all the trouble, finds Chrisdell Harris uncovered in the secondary. The one person you don't want to leave uncovered is Chrisdell Harris. Wow.
Miscommunication in the secondary for Seattle. They've definitely had a lot of issues giving up big plays here in the 2016 season. That seemed to be a miscommunication between Melee Rich and Jessica Hopkins. Now a 2-point attempt by Chicago, not getting there this time. No, they're going to give it to her. Barkley barely getting in. Now extending Chicago's lead to 16-0.
In her first game in LFL US, Jacinda Barkley is quickly making Chicago fans forget Heather Furr.
It's making me forget that Seattle's in first place. This is a Seattle team that's looked really impressive through their first 2 games. And here they are at home, down 16-0 to basically a revamped Chicago Bliss.
Barkley has literally been in the United States only a few weeks. Can you imagine her when she gets set in Chicago and learns this system?
They did give her the playbook a couple months back, but yeah, she's not had a lot of reps with this offense. Looking very sharp early. And that's Dominique Malloy having a whale of a game on the Seattle side, gaining 13 yards on this toss play.
Watch how quick she gets to that target hole. Bam, she's through there like in a New York minute. That's what they have to do. This team's not playing good. Give the ball to Malloy.
Malloy has been the answer early for Seattle. They're going to need more answers than that as they are down 16 points here. But this is a high strike offense. Bad snap. That play did not have a chance from the beginning. Jenna Weiss struggling at the safety position.
Mitch, you mentioned it. This does not look like a championship team. Right now, they look like a team that's been doing too much celebrating during the offseason.
KK Matheny looking over the defense. There's just no rhythm to this offense to this point. Looking down the field, has a streaking Bren Renda. And Renda getting into the end zone. An unbelievable connection to her favorite target, number 19.
That's how you get out of trouble as a quarterback. We mentioned it early in the season. Bren Renda is one of those receivers who's open when she's covered. She was covered there. Not a great pass by Matheny, but she gave Bren Renda a chance to catch the football. Just a 9 route, a go route. She's covered. She stops, makes a great catch. Huge play for Seattle.
Coach Keith Hack not happy with this secondary. We saw Seattle blow an assignment earlier. That looked to be good coverage. Bren Renda just outran the coverage.
He's upset with his safeties right now. They have 2 new safeties. They lost Allie Alberts and Heather Furr. They have Perez and Javelle Thompson back there, and I don't blame Seattle for attacking them. They're brand new.
And that is the extra point attempt dropped in the back of the end zone. And we've got another call, a very busy first half for Nick Martin, our head referee.
Definitely motion by number 3, Malloy. You can see it up top. And then LaShonda Fowler just drops the ball in the end zone. This does not look like the championship team we saw last year. A lot of mistakes tonight.
Still down big in this one by 10 points to Chicago. At least this offense did register some points.
Watch the running back, God, Jessica.
Coach Michelson talking to Jessica Hopkins saying, ISO the running back. You can only assume he's talking about Christelle Harris. Harris has really not been a factor in the first half.
The Ferrari is not the story. The story right now is right there, number 15, the quarterback. Jacinda Barkley having a whale of a game in her first start.
Ironically enough, wearing Heather Rockstar Furr's number. Rockstar Furr wore 15 for many years and has a huge following in Chicago, so big shoes to fill tonight for young Jacinda Barkley. That pass intended for Tamar Fennell, completely catchable. She's not helping Barkley there.
Should have been caught, but the big story there was the offensive line. Watch the time Barkley has up front. Nobody's getting pressure on her. She can stand back there all day, delivers a perfect pass. She just took her eyes off the football.
Now a 2nd and 10, ball at the Chicago 15-yard line. Jacinda Barkley, by all measures, has looked really good here in the first half. Crowd coming back to life here in Chicago. That is a toss right to the Ferrari, Christelle Harris. Great defensive stop by Danica Brace. Those two have been going at it all night. They go back many years, those two, number 13 and number 8.
They sure do. 2 great football players, but they're trying to take Christelle Harris out of the football game. They mentioned they would try to do that and put the game in Barkley's hands, but they did that, and so far Barkley's shown up.
That's Danica Brace. We talked about her 2015 season. It's picked up exactly where she left off. There's no wonder why she is the number 1 player in the LFL. A 3rd and 8 for Barkley in this offense. From the shotgun, looking down the field. Now going to try to check down. Big pressure. That is Sage Steinmetz and Stevie Schnorr combining. And that'll be a loss of 4.
Great coverage by the Seattle secondary. That was actually a secondary sack. Barkley had time to throw. Nobody open. And we mentioned early in the year, Danica Brace now playing Rover. She watched the quarterback's eyes and nobody was open.
Danica Brace, the heart and soul of this Seattle franchise, urging this crowd to get behind him on this key 4th down. This is a crowd that's caused many a delay of games and false starts. And here they come again. Barkley from the shotgun, looking to the right side of the field. Now a streaking receiver caught by Tamar Fennell in the open field, getting past the secondary and into the end zone. That is a 37-yard connection.
Tamar Fennell, we saw her do this in Cleveland. Now, underneath a crossing route, nobody there. She looks like she's going to be tackled by 2, and Brace has her, but her speed gets her outside. What a play for Chicago.
How did Tamar Fennell stay off the walls there? That is just great balance by number 3.
They came back with the identical play they ran to the other side when Fennell dropped the football, but people forget Tamar Fennell was an all-fantasy running back in Cleveland. What a combination with her and Christelle the Ferrari Harris.
Chicago offense, a 5-play, 35-yard drive, and now lead 22-6 as we go to the 2-minute break.
Like your favorite LFL players and teams and receive breaking news stories. The LFL's official Facebook page, facebook.com/mylfl.
You guys do not want this. You think we're going to just get a championship. And you got to get the better angles. How does Tamar score there?
I have to agree with Coach Michelson. This team does not look like they want the championship this year. Chicago's first game of the year, and they're killing them right now.
That is a bad snap. Jacinda Barkley losing the ball. That's Danica Brace taking it to the house. And that's going to be good for a Seattle score. Are you kidding me?
Wow, you don't pull on Superman's cape. Danica Brace out of nowhere completely turned this game around. Bad snap, goes through the legs of quarterback Barkley. She picks it up, tries to make something happen. She should have just taken the sack. Of all people, Danica Brace coast to coast for 6.
Coach Keith Hack not agreeing with the touchdown call. He thought it was a dead ball.
Down here. What are these guys doing? What are they doing? It's a 2-point conversion. The ball is down here.
Coach Hack still saying the ball should be on the other end. And that is head referee Nick Martin going to review the play, but that was clearly a turnover and advanced for a touchdown by Danica Brace.
This is going to stand. I mean, that's clearly the rule. She ran in for 6. Should stand at 6 points.
I think what Coach Hack was arguing is that it's just a 2-point conversion. It cannot be advanced for a score, which is not correct. The ball can be advanced for a score on a turnover for any extra point conversion. That's simple.
It is that simple, and that should hold up. I know he's upset right now, but that's a huge turn of events for Seattle.
Talk about a backbreaker. Chicago was up 22-6, and then Danica Brace taking it to the house for 32 yards. And they're going to give the score to Seattle. I'm not sure why they even reviewed the play. And Coach Hack just now finding out, and he is not happy.
He's going crazy right now. He cannot believe it. He thinks at worst it's 2 points, not 6. The refs clearly said it's a touchdown.
That's not a touchdown. That's not a touchdown. It's an extra point. You cannot score a touchdown. No, you cannot score a touchdown on an extra point. No, that is not a touchdown. That is not a touchdown. That's not a touchdown. It's an extra point.
Change the rule.
6 wins. 6 wins. Oh, that's bullshit. Okay, that's not football. That's not football.
Coach Keith Hack saying that's not football, but that is the rule book. And that's a rule book that's distributed to all the head coaches around the league. So I'm a little perplexed that Coach Hack is making this into a bigger thing than it really is.
He can't believe it. In fact, I can't believe he's all over the field right now. I don't know if this is a penalty on its own.
This could be a delay of game here on Chicago very easily. Coach Hack just heard something he did not like. They're still conferring about this. I don't see where the mystery is. Even Danica Brace having fun with it.
You mentioned this is a backbreaker. They were up 22-6. Momentum all on their side. Now Seattle is back in the ball game.
Oh, extra point? That's not football. You don't score.
The crowd not even liking this delay. This could easily be a delay of game call on Chicago. And I'm not sure why head referee Nick Martin is not taking better control of this situation and just explaining that you can return an extra point for a score and let it be at that.
I agree. The refs should take control of this situation, play football right now. Coach Hack really upset. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that was vodka right there.
An extra point. An extra point is not a touchdown. What kind of bullshit is that? Learn the rules.
Coach Heath Hack should get a rule book faxed to him here at halftime. He's pretty fired up and seems pretty convinced that that was the wrong call. That's Dominique Malloy not able to get in. The score will remain 22-12. Chicago still up.
Quarterback Barkley compounded the mistake. A bad snap went through her legs. She should have just fallen on the football and none of this would have happened. She tried to make a play happen, tried to throw it, went right to Danica Brace, and now here we go. Seattle is back in the football game.
That is pretty much the only mistake Barkley's made through one half of football, but that cost them 6 points. And now this crowd and this defense smells blood in the water as Chicago takes over at its own 15-yard line. We'll see if this offense has one more drive in them here before the half. Barkley in the shotgun, looking to the left side, now across the middle. Has a receiver on the edge. Incomplete, intended for Chrisdell Harris. Great coverage by LaShonda Fowler, who just dropped an interception.
A sure interception, but another bad pass by Barkley. She has Chrisdell Harris open. She has to just let it go. Underthrown her, that would have been a touchdown. Fowler had a chance and should have picked the ball off, but that should have been 6 points for Chicago.
Mother! They would have jumped. Son of a...
Both of these coaches are going to need some antacid at halftime. Tell me these guys do not take the game seriously. As we said earlier in the ball game, these are the two most intense head coaches you'll see on our sidelines. Barkley remains in the shotgun. It's a crossing pattern to Stephanie Murray, just getting lit up by Danica Brace.
Great catch by Murray to hold on to the football. Brace just, watch this hit again. Nobody hits harder in the LFL than Danica Brace. Literally almost takes her head off, but somehow she holds on to the football.
Murray did manage to hold on, and that advances the ball to the Chicago 23-yard line. Still plenty of time left. Chicago does have a remaining timeout. Kim Chase, the free agent defensive end out of Los Angeles, has not had an impact through 3 ball games. We'll see if she can turn it on here in an obvious passing situation. Another mishandled snap. And I think Seattle has recovered. That is Kim Chase. We just talked about her. And she comes up with the big recovery.
Kim Chase, she was a superstar in Los Angeles, but there are so many talented players. She's gone unnoticed so far this season until now. Great play by Chase, but Barkley, that's 2 bad plays in 2 consecutive series.
You can perhaps pin some of that on the center play. Stephanie Murray was supposed to start for Chicago. Last minute, that was swapped out by Kelsey Bolstad. And Bolstad having some problems in the first half, although that should have been handled by Barkley. And Seattle going right back to work with Dominique Malloy, the spark plug of this offense, gaining 11 yards.
It is fun to watch her run the football. Dominique Malloy, a cutter and a slasher, just going right through the Chicago defense. What an acquisition by Coach Michelson, especially with KK Matheny having the offseason that she's having.
Now, this is a vital drive for Seattle. They're down at home 10 points to the Chicago Bliss, a rival. You get it in here, you make it a very interesting second half.
Coach Hack has to get recomposed, himself and his team. They were up 22-6. Yep, that play happened, but it's over. You got to move on, get back in the football game.
I think if you're Chicago, you're looking at the upside. You are up on the road against the Legends Cup champion without some of your key figures like Nneka Nwani, Ali Alberts, obviously Heather Furr. So this bodes well for this new roster in Chicago.
I really think Chicago is going to have an outstanding team under new quarterback Jacinda Barkley.
Now from the shotgun, KK Matheny looking to the end zone, has a receiver. And that is caught in the back of the end zone by Danica Brace. Number 8 has really come on these final 2 minutes.
On both sides of the football, they're doing the waltz there. I've never seen that after a touchdown. But Danica Brace, you're right. She scored the big play on the conversion. Here it is, one-on-one coverage. Again, not a great pass by KK Matheny. A little bit behind. What a catch. It should have been broken up by Chicago, but somehow Danica pulled it in.
Brace often talked about as a very dominant defensive player, and rightfully so. But often we forget her overall skill set, especially on the offensive side of the ball. That's a quick release play. That looked like it was intended for Christine Moore. Moore nowhere near the football. We got a call from Nick Martin.
Seattle went with a trip set. They tried to break out the tight end Christine Moore in the flat. Chicago jumped all over it, but too much pass interference against Chicago.
What is the play? Tight 21 guys. Tight 21
God it! God it!
Head coach Chris Michelson, an offensive coordinator, trying to get the attention of KK Matheny. Could not do so, does not matter. That is Stevie Schnorr. She'll get in for the extra point attempt, and it is a 2-point ball game.
Sometimes I think quarterback KK Matheny does not want to hear Coach Michelson. You could hear Michelson all over this arena, but KK did not respond and did what she had to do, give the ball to Stevie Schnorr.
I'm sure you did that a few times in Florida and with the Tampa Bay Bucks. When you don't want to hear your OC, you get instant deafness.
Absolutely, and you are the coach on the field, and if you don't want to hear Michelson, you just call the play.
She's hearing plenty now, about a foot from Chris Michelson. It does not matter what that scoreboard reads. That young man is always intense on the sideline.
That's the most intense I've ever seen a coach after converting the 2-point conversion.
Barkley remains in the shotgun. Quick dart pass intended for Tamar Fennell. Falls incomplete.
For the first time in the first half, Barkley looks a little rattled. 2 consecutive series with fumbles, bad snaps. They are not set in the pocket, just a bad pass.
She's not played any LFL football since the 2013 season of LFL Australia. So in a lot of ways, a rookie-type debut for Jacinda Barkley.
Barkley came out on fire with 3 touchdown passes, but right now she looks a little bit rattled. She needs to get composed going into the second half.
Now a 2nd and 10 play. Fakes the handoff, back to throw, evading the rush. And now they're going to get to Barkley, nearly losing the ball. Very dangerously carrying it up high, and she'll gain 2 yards. The clock continues to run. I'm not sure Jacinda Barkley is aware of the clock situation.
This is the swarming Seattle defense that we are used to. Stevie Schnorr came right up the gut. Everybody gang tackling. That's how they win a championship. They have to get back to that kind of football.
And this clock continues to run. There is no urgency by the Chicago Bliss. Not exactly a very proficient 2-minute offense here. Barkley in the shotgun. That's Tamar Fennell to motion at the top of the screen. They're going to try down the field. Has a receiver. Danica Brace getting under it. Brace contributing on both sides of the football.
Chrisdell Harris was wide open. Barkley just couldn't set and get her the football. Brace a great play, but again, Barkley couldn't get the ball deep.
Jacinda Barkley starting the game very strong. Struggling in the last 2 minutes, and that allowed Seattle to crawl back into this game 22-20 as we head to halftime.
It's embarrassing.
Welcome back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco. Now, Bobby, we talked about it in the pregame show. We thought this Chicago team had no identity. We did not know how they were going to perform in the first half. Oh, they're only up 22-20 against the champs on the road.
Unbelievable. Here's a Chicago team has yet to take a snap before this game, and at halftime they're beating the champs. And it's all because of first-year quarterback Jacinda Barkley. Incredibly, she's already thrown for 3 touchdown passes.
They've definitely had a run offensively. And then for Seattle, they did mount a rally. KK Matheny with a pair of first-half touchdown passes. Then it was 2015 league MVP Danica Brace taking this turnover to the house for 32 yards. That brings us to our halftime score of 22-20. Now, what are the keys in the second half for both these teams?
For Chicago, you have to give the ball to Chrisdell, the Ferrari Harris. Take some of the heat off the first-year quarterback, Barkley. And for Seattle, feed the bull. Stevie Schnorr, she's going to open up KK Matheny's passing game.
And you heard it from former LFL coach and quarterback Bobby Huco. We get you ready for the second half kickoff. Guess what, folks? Kickoff is next. Back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco. And now we go down to the field with Desi Mitchison.
I'm with Danica Brace. Danica, that was an interesting first half. Is Chicago really that good, or are you guys not executing well enough?
No, we're absolutely not executing. You have 4th and 15, 4th and long, and we let a deep ball go. I mean, unfortunately, it's something Seattle's done for a while, so we got to clean it up. It's second half right now. We're ready to go.
Best of luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
Danica Brace has personally brought Seattle back in this game with that touchdown on the missed conversion, the interception, and then the touchdown reception. What a first half by Brace.
Brace single-handedly brought Seattle back into this game, and that is the mark of a legend. A lot of people favor her for Hall of Fame induction this year. Those ceremonies will happen later, Legends Cup weekend. For now, we get underway. Third quarter action. That's Dominique Malloy with a horrible kickoff. That's fielded by Sage Steinmetz, getting to the outside and being pushed against the boards. Tackled by Chantel Taylor.
Former league MVP Sage Steinmetz almost broke that one on a bad kickoff. You mentioned terrible kickoff. Steinmetz almost took it coast to coast.
KK Matheny had a very subpar first half. A lot of miscommunication with offensive coordinator Chris Michelson. And that should be a concern, or at least cause for alarm if you're a Seattle fan, because now you're in your third game. There should be some rhythm.
KK Matheny, she had her breakout year last year. They won the championship. She led the league in passing. But this year so far, she just doesn't have it, under 50%.
Certainly no shortage of weapons here on this Seattle offense. Bren Renda, Jessica Hopkins, Danica Brace at the tight end position. And that young lady, Dominique Malloy, who had a big first half, limited there to about a yard by Chantel Taylor.
It looked like a read option by Seattle. Matheny actually should have given the ball off to Stevie Schnorr. Nobody went after her. She pitched it outside to Malloy, where Chicago had two defenders.
That was only a 1-yard gain. Chantel Taylor, part of a pair of all-star defensive ends. Yashi Rice not making the trip, not active with the team right now, as they are looking to revamp and rebuild in Chicago. Now a 2nd and 9 ball at the Seattle 18. They're really looking to get Malloy off in this game. That was 14-yard gain on the reverse by Dominique Malloy.
A jockey has to have a fast horse, and Coach Chris Michelson, that is his horse, Dominique Malloy. The way she gets to the edge and turns the corner is unlike any back in the league.
They are content to just keep this on the ground. You got to factor at some point here, Stevie Schnorr may get involved, as KK Matheny is struggling here in this game.
KK Matheny, even though she's struggling, she has to be thrilled she's only down 2 points.
That is something that should be alarming if you're a Chicago fan. It feels like the Bliss have dominated this game outside of the final 2 minutes of the first half. A 1st and 10 for the Seattle offense, ball at the 18. KK Matheny going to try a shot to the end zone. Great coverage there by Tamar Fennell. Nothing doing.
One-on-one coverage. You would think that Malloy, with her blazing speed, could get past Tamar Fennell, but she couldn't. One-on-one, great coverage. Matheny had nowhere to put the football. She threw it out there, but nothing there.
You get the feeling that KK Matheny is just not in rhythm with her offensive coordinator, Chris Michelson, nor any of her teammates.
Well, you can see that on the sideline. All they're doing is arguing the whole football game so far.
A 2nd and 10 ball remains at the Chicago 18-yard line. This offense can score from anywhere on the field, and they're only down 2 points. KK Matheny, like a good shooter, going back to the air. This time intended for Bren Renda, and that'll fall incomplete.
A rare drop by Bren Renda. Great read by KK Matheny. Man-to-man coverage outside. Anytime you get Renda one-on-one, just throw it up there. She did. Should have been a touchdown for Seattle.
This Chicago defense looking impressive. Everybody's well aware of Seattle's offense and how high-powered it is. But over 3 quarters of play nearly, we're only at 20 points for this Seattle offense. A lot of it has to do with Chantel Taylor and the game she's having here in the 3rd quarter. Seattle going to work here from Chicago's 18-yard line. Another high snap. Matheny looking to throw the ball. That's Dominique Collins coming up from the corner. That ball is loose. And that looked to be recovered by Christine Moore. That is a ball that KK Matheny has got to get rid of.
With the loss of Allie Alberts and Heather Furr in that secondary, Dominique Collins is stepping up. This could be her year. Right there, she was on the outside edge. She didn't let KK Matheny read her mail. She came in a late blitz and got to her. Great play by Collins.
That was a loss of 18 yards on that sack fumble. Dominique Collins smartly coming up from the corner position. Coach Michelson is going to have a few things to share with number 15 at halftime, as their offense is now backed up to the Seattle 14.
I haven't seen a relationship with a coach and quarterback like this since Bill Parcells and Phil Simms way back. They haven't said one nice thing to each other all night.
Or Johnny Manziel and any current coach. And we have a media timeout as Seattle is reeling.
Follow your favorite LFL players and teams and receive breaking news stories. Like the LFL's official Twitter page, twitter.com/mylfl.
We cannot explain in the fucking huddle. You got 17 seconds. Get to the line. It's a jet. I don't give two that they don't know it. You got 17 seconds. You cannot explain it and then motion. How are you going to motion with 6 seconds? Throw the ball away. You took the hit because you would have thrown the ball away. It was a muff play. She snapped it too high. Throw the away. Live to fight another day.
Coach Michelson saying you got to get rid of the ball to KK Matheny. Matheny from the shotgun. They are not shy with the deep ball in Seattle. And that's Dominique Collins coming up with the interception. It was a 4th and 28 play, so it's kind of like a punt.
It's like a punt, but you got to get the ball out there. Way short. Dominique Collins waited for the punt, caught the ball. Bryn Render was open. Throw the ball deep, KK. Get it out there. She couldn't get it out there. Short. Collins comes back and catches it.
Both of these starting quarterbacks really struggling with the deep ball tonight. We've seen a couple sail on Jacinda Barkley and KK Matheny as well, but they both are known for strong arms, so it should not be an issue.
Very surprising on both ends. You mentioned it. I saw tapes of Barkley. She can throw it all over the field. So can KK, but tonight they're all short.
Chicago's offense taking over now from the 10-yard line. Quick screen play. That was intended for Tamar Fennell. They love her in open spaces. Just could not connect with Barkley.
Seattle was ready for that trip set. They had stock blocking down the field. They brought Fennell underneath. There was nothing there.
Ball remains at the 11 of Chicago. Jacinda Barkley really struggling since the 2-minute mark of the first half. Just does not seem comfortable in the pocket.
Ever since that change of possession where Danica Brace went in for a score, she hasn't been the same quarterback.
Barkley on the 2nd and 10 play, going to take off with the ball now. That is where she's had some success tonight. She'll gain 3 yards on the carry. That's Danica Brace on the tackle.
Barkley's a big quarterback. Expect her to do that all year, but there's only so many hits that you can take from Danica Brace. In that rover position, she's spying on Barkley. As soon as she takes off to the line of scrimmage, Brace goes right after her.
Barkley, one of the more physical quarterbacks in the league, alongside perhaps Jane Caldwell of Los Angeles. She's really built for contact. As we said, she's played a lot of rugby back in Australia. She's going to play that card one too many times and get hurt. That's Christelle Harris. And Harris has been really contained tonight, limited to 2 yards on the carry.
The Seattle defense is really stepping up right now. This is that championship team that we saw last year on defense. They're getting the crowd into it. Brace has her teammates playing really good football right now.
Just getting back to that Christelle Harris point, every time we've seen her touch the ball outside of this season and outside of tonight, I should say, she's really dominated performances.
Christelle Harris still has a lot of talent, but she's a veteran. This is her 5th, 6th year. She's taken a lot of hits.
I think the defenses have also caught up to her in terms of athleticism, and this is a big 4th down play for this offense. That's Dina Fagiano. It looked to be an inside handoff. She's going to be just short as she managed about 4 yards, needed 5.
All last season, we watched Chicago run that play, the inside tight end handoff to Dina Fagiano, and she would break for 10, 15 yards. She only got 4 right there. Seattle's defense playing some ball right now.
This crowd starting to smell some blood in the water. You could see Coach Hack not happy. I'm not sure what's happened here, but the sails have absolutely come out of this Chicago team.
They looked dominant in the first half until that Danica Brace touchdown. They were dominating this team in their home field.
First and 10, ball at the Chicago 20. KK Matheny under center this time. Hands it off. That looks to be Stevie Schnorr getting out in the open field. Schnorr gaining 7 yards on the carry.
A great kick out block by Christine Moore. There was such a hole there, Mitch, you could have even ran through there.
Stevie Schnorr impressing people with her speed. You see the size of her. You know she's going to be a physical back, but she's pretty fast in the open field.
These two backs will help out KK Matheny. We've been all over Matheny all night about her lack of passing performance, but these two backs can pick up when a quarterback's not performing.
A 2nd and 3 now. Toss left to Dominique Malloy, getting to the edge and into the end zone is Dominique Malloy.
Shot out of a cannon. Dominique Malloy got in the end zone before you could blink, but they might be bringing this one back.
That looks to be a holding call on Seattle. That is exactly what they're going to call. That's going to negate the Dominique Malloy touchdown.
Might be a phantom call here. They call on Jenna Weiss, but I don't see anything right there. Looks like a good block. I don't see a hold at all.
Whoa, and what's the penalty? It's a spot! It's the spot! It's from the spot! Hey.
Coach Chris Michelson thinking that should be a spot penalty. So the rule book has been a big a star of this game as any player has been.
I don't want to say that's a makeup call, but I didn't see anything there. That should have been a touchdown for Seattle.
They're going to bring the ball back to about the 14-yard line. As Seattle still remains on the field, a 2nd down play coming up. And Stevie Schnorr in the ground game could factor in here as the passing attack has struggled. That's KK Matheny in the shotgun. Dominique Malloy has been in motion all night. They're going to give it to her this time and just loses her footing, gaining 2 yards, falling forward.
That is the only thing that can stop Dominique Malloy herself. She has holes everywhere. She just doesn't know which one to pick. She tackled herself.
Sometimes you can't start in 5th gear. And Dominique Malloy, I think that is the only gear she has.
You never know when them turf monsters are going to grab your foot.
It is a brand new turf. The players love the surface, but I'm sure there are areas that need to be worked out still. A 3rd and 2 play, ball at the 12 of Chicago. That's a handoff to Stevie Schnorr. When in doubt, feed the bull. You said it at halftime, Bobby, and she gained 7 yards on the carry.
When you need 2 yards, give it to the bull. She'll give you 7. Her stats this year are outstanding. Her yards per carry, they're up there with the tops in the league.
Stevie Schnorr, whenever the passing game struggles, you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, Bobby, they go to number 2. And now we're seeing number 3 being worked into the lineup as well with Dominique Malloy. A 1st and goal, ball at the Chicago 5-yard line. Seattle in no hurry there, down by 2 points. Matheny remains in the shotgun. That looks to be a release play, and that is going to be good for a score. That is Christine Moore, the former Seattle vet, returning to the team and pulling her team ahead here.
Outstanding play by quarterback KK Matheny. She saw the defensive end, Chantel Taylor, coming hard from the outside. That left Christine Moore wide open. Somehow she gets the ball over Chantel Taylor for 6 points.
That is a big score for this Seattle offense. This is a game, keep in mind, that they were down 20-7 in the first half. They closed the gap with 2 minutes remaining in the first half behind spirited play by number 8, Danica Brace. Now the extra point attempt by KK Matheny, looking to the end zone, intercepted. That is Dominique Collins going to bring it out. Oh, and she's wide open. Nothing but green grass in front of number 12. So Chicago returns the favor as Danica Brace returned an extra point in the first half. And here's Dominique Collins returning the favor.
Wow, is that a smirk or a smile I see on Coach Hack's face? Dominique Collins, out of nowhere, picks it off and goes coast to coast. She did have an unbelievable game tonight. Can you believe this? 2 returns for touchdowns on extra points.
I somehow think Coach Hack will not debate the extra point rule anymore now that it's played to his favor.
Coach Michelson cannot believe the effort for his team. There is no way Dominique Collins should be able to take that ball coast to coast. There was a lack of effort. Nobody tried to tackle her.
And you can see the sidelines. They are still upset at that play. Chicago now up 28-26. That's Jacinda Barkley. Designed rollout play will not get there. So the score will remain Chicago 28, Seattle 26.
KK Matheny, I don't know what she saw on that play. There was nobody there except Dominique Collins. She threw the ball up and Collins had to catch it.
This Seattle offense will now get a chance to redeem itself. Right back out on the field after that Collins return of nearly 54 yards to the house. 1st and 10, ball at the Seattle 15. Matheny under center, looking over that defense, handing it off to Stevie Schnorr. That is about the only time that nothing has gone wrong. Schnorr gaining 6 yards on the carry, and that'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. It's Chicago up 28-26.
Warrior Black, the official eye black of LFL athletes.
Back to LFL football night. The final 10 minutes of football, and we've got a good one for you. The Seattle Mist down 28-26.
If I was Coach Michelson, I think I'd keep it on the ground. They haven't stopped Stevie Schnorr or Dominique Malloy on the ground. Why not keep giving them the football?
That is an excellent point. The passing game is obviously not working tonight, and Stevie Schnorr is racking up the yards. They're going to stay through the air. That was intended to Jessica Hopkins. Tamar Fennell in coverage.
I don't know if KK Matheny did that on purpose, but she threw the ball way behind the receiver. If it was on target, it would probably been picked off again.
That looked to be a timing play, and Jessica Hopkins not only was in the wrong spot, but was nowhere near the football when she turned for it. 3rd and 4, ball at the Seattle 21. KK Matheny really taking her time under center. There's the handoff you were looking for, Bobby Hugo. Stevie Schnorr stiff-arming defenders and gaining 11 yards.
That is basic power football. You read the block at Jenna White. She blocks out, you cut left, big hole, and now try to bring down the bulldozer. Stevie the Bull Schnorr, wow.
Kim Perez wanted nothing to do with Stevie Schnorr. When you see that locomotive coming at you, if she ever gets to the second layer of the defense, she's going to average at least 6 to 10 yards a carry.
Stevie Schnorr is a free safety's nightmare. Once she gets past the first level, you have to tackle that bulldozer one-on-one. Good luck. 170 pounds of pure steel.
Now they've got her listed at 120 pounds. Stevie Schnorr. That's her right arm, Bobby. That's Dominique Malloy, 6 yards on the carry. Kim Perez on the tackle.
Great call. You fake it like you're going outside. Watch the jab step. Right there. Boom. Then you come inside. You read Weiss's block. Big yardage inside. Good call by Seattle.
That is the thunder and lightning approach we talked about in the first half. The more success they're going to have on the ground, you got to figure they're going to stay on the ground. They're trailing this game 28-26. Matheny under center. Almost a bunch set here with Stevie Schnorr almost directly behind KK Matheny. They're going to fake the inside handoff to Schnorr, go to Dominique Malloy, and Malloy just jumping over the defense and gaining 6 yards.
Dominique Malloy following the block of Christine Moore. Look at that, great stats already this year. Just a dominant running back. Great pickup by Seattle.
They were very excited about her, giving a lot of speed to this offense. Think about it. There's not a lot of speed here. Bren Renda, not going to break any records. Stevie Schnorr is not going to outrun anybody, although we talked about her being deceptively fast in the open field. This is the one target, the one element this offense did not have was speed, and that is the sole purpose of number 3.
You have that number 3, then you have that power package with Schnorr. I don't think there's a better running combination in the league.
2nd and 4 ball at the Chicago 12. Pitch out to Malloy, cutting it back inside. Great pursuit by Chantel Taylor.
Chantel Taylor coming off the edge, and then Tamar Fennell from the cornerback position. Number 3 got to number 3 before she could put it in 5th gear.
The clock will start to become a factor here as we get under 7 minutes. Seattle obviously having a lot of time here.
That's the first time all night long I think I saw Coach Michelson and KK Matheny actually talking together.
Yeah, they have been on each other like a married couple all night. Both very steadfast in their beliefs as to how to run this offense. 1st and goal, ball at the 6-yard line. Matheny looking for a quick slant to Bren Renda, and that falls incomplete.
Actually, a great pass by KK Matheny against a cover 2. You have to throw it quick. It's going to be tight coverage. She got it to Renda. She just couldn't hold the ball.
That'll move it to 3rd and goal. Now you kind of limit yourself that you have to go to the passing game. Whereas the previous play, maybe if you gave it to Stevie Schnorr, she could have racked off 3-4 yards.
Well, you knew that was going to happen. Now you have to have a pass run option where maybe Matheny rolling out.
Hopkins open there on the slant. Now a corner rolls over to her side. 3rd and goal, ball remains at the 7 of Chicago. Matheny just standing still and now just barely keeping her balance, evading the rush for a 2nd time, looking to the end zone, has a receiver. What a combination. Finding Christine Moore. KK Matheny. All 5'2" of her looked like she was about 6 feet tall here.
KK Matheny being KK Matheny, she outfakes Jasmine Salep twice on the same play, goes across the field, wide open in the end zone. She finds Christine Moore. Just an outstanding football play by quarterback KK Matheny.
You can doubt number 15 through 3 quarters of football, but when it gets to the 4th quarter, she's one of the best.
After all this, it's a crazy game, crazy plays, all kinds of things going on. Here it is, less than 5 minutes left, and the champs have the lead again.
If you like offense, you've dialed up the right game here. 60 points scored between these two teams. And now we've got a timeout Seattle. KK Matheny, behind the magic of her legs and arm, takes Seattle ahead. Back to 4th quarter action of LFL football night. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco and Desi Mitchison.
That was vintage KK Matheny on that touchdown pass.
Keeping the play alive and finding Christine Moore in the back of the end zone. Now they line up for the extra point attempt. This will be a 2-point attempt, and that's Dominique Malloy. She just does not have the size to get in. So our score will remain 32-28, Seattle up.
I do like that formation. They went in a straight I formation with Stevie Schnorr, the bull, in front of Malloy. She just couldn't open up any holes.
Not sure if that was the right selection, though. Dominique Malloy is not a short down back. You would have thought the rock should have went to number 2.
I totally agree. Number 2 doesn't get stopped short of anything less than 5 yards.
Stevie Schnorr now leading this defense. Moving over to the middle linebacker position after Brace was moved to Rover. Barkley from the shotgun. You could see the center not able to hear the quarterback. Barkley just a little sidearm dump off to Fennell. Fennell gaining 4 yards.
I think they went to that play one time too many. They bring Fennell all the way across the field on a crossing route. Seattle's all over it, not much there.
A gain of 4 yards. Chicago very much so in this game. Only a 4-point game with over 4 minutes remaining. They've just got to battle this crowd. This is a lot like the Seahawks atmosphere, especially late in the 4th quarter. A quick screen pass again to Tamar Fennell. This time Fennell gaining 2 yards.
I'm really surprised with the arm strength that Barkley has. They're not trying to go down the field at all. She can throw it anywhere. They're throwing these little dink passes right now.
This definitely looks to be a West Coast-oriented offense of dink and dunk possession football, as they really don't have an outside threat outside of Amanda Johnson and perhaps Tamar Fennell. But they're going to look to work their way one play at a time down the field. And I am surprised Christelle Harris has not touched the rock yet. And on cue, toss left, number 13. But only managing a yard. That is Kim Chase on the tackle.
They have her number tonight running the football. She's been effective as a receiver, but running the football, she can't get anything against this tough Seattle defense.
This is as big as it gets, folks. 4th and 3. Ball at the Chicago 22.
Usually, in prior years, 4th and 3, you know Christelle Harris is getting the football. But she's been kind of ineffective as a running back tonight. I'm not sure if they're going to call her number.
They've really been targeting Tamar Fennell. We'll see if that's where Jacinda Barkley goes. From the shotgun, that's Harris in motion. Looking to the right side, Barkley dumping it off. And it looked like somebody was running the wrong pattern. And that'll fall incomplete.
She had time. I don't know why she hurried the pass. There was nobody there. She could have, Coach Hack not happy with his quarterback at all. She hurried that pass, nobody open, and they didn't have a chance to get the first down.
Now an interesting sequence for this Seattle offense. With a little over 2 minutes remaining, you got to factor the bull here.
Give it to the bull and run the clock out. But getting back to quarterback Barkley, she started this game off so hot with early touchdown passes. Here in the second half, she hasn't done much.
Barkley has really been ineffective, to your point. And some of that has got to be chalked up, obviously, to their first game. Keeping in mind, Seattle, this is their 3rd game as an offense this season. Matheny under center, handing it off to Stevie Schnorr, finding real estate to the outside. That'll be good enough for a Seattle first down.
Great kick out block by Chris Seymour. Opened the hole for Stevie Schnorr to go through. Big chunks of yardage. They'll be doing this the rest of the game, I think, Mitch.
And we've got a timeout on the field. This is a vital sequence on both sides of the ball. You've got a Seattle Mist team that's sitting currently at 2-0. You got to factor if they go to 3-0, they are going to clinch a playoff spot. And on the other side, Chicago cannot afford to drop to 0-1.
No, Chicago's got a tough road. Keith Hack, if he loses this game, he will not sleep all week because he had this game in the bag in the first half, up 22-6. Now they're down. They have to get a turnover right now.
And I don't think anybody wanted to win this game more than Christelle Harris and Keith Hack, the leaders of this team, after losing the 2015 Legends Cup right here in this building.
You're right, Christelle Harris and Coach Hack were focused. They treated this game like an LFL championship game. It's not over. This defense somehow has to create a turnover.
And for Chicago, even if you lose this game, I think you walk away feeling pretty good about yourself, factoring in that not only are the Seattle Mist the champs, they've got 2 games under their belt before this game.
Chicago has a lot of talent, but number one, they have a quarterback. That was the big question mark. Could the quarterback from Australia, Jacinda Barkley, come in here and perform? She has.
This time it's KK Matheny's turn, and she's going to hand it off to the bull, Stevie Schnorr. Schnorr gaining 8 yards on the carry, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. The running of the Bulls has started early in Seattle. Back to LFL football night. That is Stevie Schnorr, game MVP, being recognized.
Stevie Schnorr is just a beast. She is a workout beast, and she loves her beer. In fact, she puts her beer on the bottom shelf of the refrigerator so she can do squats when she gets it.
That Canadian headband, you know they like the suds up north. And next week, we are in Dallas for the Texas Bowl. It's the Austin Acoustic versus the Dallas Desire next week on LFL Football Night.
Two young, outstanding quarterbacks, Tashay Winfrey from Austin and Michelle Angel from Dallas.
Those two are definitely the next generation quarterbacks. We've seen Tashay Winfrey have success early in the year. And, of course, we saw what Michelle Angel did against her former team, the Los Angeles Temptation. Should be a good one in Austin. Now a 2nd and 2 ball at the Chicago 3 in a game that we have yet to decide, and that is Stevie Schnorr on cue, gets into the end zone and will extend Seattle's lead.
We call her the bull, but watch this jump cut outside. She read the blocking out front, bang, went outside for a touchdown. They're trying to run the clock out, and they score more points.
Stevie Schnorr just named her the game MVP. And here's another look at that score, getting to the outside, Bobby, losing the ball, but obviously crossing the plane.
Just an outstanding block by LaShonda Fowler. She roach blocked that Chicago Blitz player right on her back.
That is one thing you can never fake, confidence in the huddle. KK Matheny definitely has that. Now the extra point attempt. This will be a 2-point conversion attempt. Back of the end zone, wide open. Jessica Hopkins, a crucial extra point conversion that extends Seattle's lead to 12 points.
Not sure what happened to the Bliss coverage right there. Jessica Hopkins came across the entire back of the end zone. Nobody went with her. Coach Hack can't believe it that she was that wide open.
Jacinda Barkley now has her work cut out for her. After being up in this game 20-7, they are now down 12 points.
There's a lot of time. 1:56, she's got the gun. If they score, they try an onside kick. There's a possibility.
This is where we get to see if Chicago developed a passing game. That's a quick crossing pattern to Amanda Johnson. Johnson gaining 8 yards. That's Melee Rich on the tackle.
I like this. In their hurry-up offense, a lot of time. Let's see the composure on the young quarterback.
I like the urgency with 2-minute offense this half. They really struggled with it to end the first half. That's Barkley looking to throw, has a receiver. And that's caught. That's Christelle Harris. And that's good for 15 yards. Coach Hack asking them to kill the clock. See if Barkley gets up to the line. That should stop our clock.
When she gets time, she can dish the rock. She might have one of the quickest releases I've seen in the LFL. Just give her time and she can get the ball down the field.
And give some credit to Christelle Harris there coming up with the football. Chicago will need a pair of scores here. As we talked about, there is the onside kick possibility if they can get it into the end zone. This time Jacinda Barkley goes under center. Dropping back to pass, looking for the quick release. Had no idea that Melee Rich was blitzing off the edge.
Wow, Melee Rich, she has great straight line speed. The quarterback, you got to see this coming off the edge. She was blindsided, but you got to know that's coming. Watch this on the edge. She's not even looking. She looked the other way, but you have to look and see if they're going to come. Boom, great play by Melee Rich.
I don't know how Jacinda Barkley was able to hold on to that football. That was a 4-yard loss. And now another high snap, this time by Stephanie Murray. You cannot have that kind of football this late in the ball game.
Those are game killers right there. They're driving the ball in the end zone. Now the clock's running. Now the ball's moving backwards. You just can't do that at the center position.
That was a loss of 12 yards, and Chicago's huddling for some reason. They went from running a great 2-minute offense to being backed up now to their 16-yard line.
Coach Hack, he's perplexed right now about what quarterback Barkley is doing. She's letting the clock run out. This game might be over.
This is baffling. After running a hurry-up offense, why do you go into huddle here? They're going to have time for one more play to the end zone. Deflected at the last second by Jessica Hopkins. And that's your ball game.
The ball hawk of all people, she has a nose for the football. Looked like it was going to be 6 to Christelle Harris, but you're right. Bad clock management there at the end of the game.
You could see the frustration and overall pissed offness on Keith Hack This was a game that was well in hand for Chicago, and the wheels just came off.
Came off big time at the end of the second half and here at the end of the game. I look for Chicago to have a solid team, but they made a lot of mistakes here. They could have had this game won.
And Seattle doing what they do best, winning this game and moving to 3-0. And that'll do it for us for LFL football night. For Bobby Huco, Desi Mitchison, this is Mitch Mortaza, and we will see you next week from Austin.